Are you a woman of faith who is struggling to navigate your current season of life? Do you feel like life is just happening to you instead of for you? My name is Jill Pack. I'm a certified life coach and a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I want you to know that no matter your season or circumstance, it is possible to create a more joyful life. And I would love to show you how. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, friends. Welcome to the Seasons of Joy podcast. I'm so excited that you're here and for this episode. This is episode number 40, and I'm going to be sharing my interview that I did recently with fellow life coach Kayla Giles. This is such a great conversation, and I think it's a very relevant topic for the time we live right now, especially as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, but also of other faiths, or just as we navigate different family members and their belief systems. They aren't always the same as ours. So I think this conversation is a powerful one. In this conversation, Kayla will share some of her insights where she is a convert to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and as she has also struggled with her own faith and that of loved ones. So I look forward to sharing this conversation with you. Before I get started, though, I wanted to invite you again to join my Seasons of Joy community Facebook group. I go live twice a month, and I teach a workshop, and I do coaching, and I take questions. I'm going to be going live this Thursday, December 15th at 12 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So I would love to have you join me. We have been talking about loving our bodies through the holidays. You can bring questions on that topic or any other topic. The purpose of this community is to show you the power of coaching and how it can help you create a life you love no matter your season or your circumstance. I would love to have you join, and I hope to see you there. Also, I am looking for 5 women of faith who are wanting to create something different for themselves in 2023. If you're ready to reach for your goal, if you are ready to create something different in your life in 2023, I would love to work with you one-on-one. I am offering a 3-month package where we will work together to help you reach your goal. If this sounds like something you're ready to do, just click the link in the show notes and we can set up a discovery call where you can learn more about the program. Now, here's my conversation with Kayla Giles. Here I am with Kayla Giles. I'm going to let her introduce herself before we get started on our conversation. So, Kayla, take it away.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Jill. I am Kayla. I'm a wife and a mom of 5. I live in Montana. I just moved from Washington State back to Montana, our hometown, and that's been a huge blessing for our family. My kids love the smaller town and just enjoying a little bit of farm life again.
Yeah, I love it.
I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I am a certified life coach, and I converted in 2007 I was pregnant with my son. I was like 7 months pregnant, and I love to work. And so that was kind of tough for me going and being a member of the church and finding a way to balance kids and life and whatnot, but it's been a blessing. And I really enjoy working with LDS converts and connecting with them. And yeah, it's been such a blessing.
Awesome. So Kayla and I are in the LDS Life Coach Directory. So that's where we first kind of connected. And so it's been a pleasure to get to know her for this interview and just kind of learn from her. And just, I think her message is a powerful one. So I just want to ask you, Kayla, how did you become a life coach? How did that happen in your story?
Yeah. So it's kind of funny because I really followed a lot of the Jody Moore and a couple other coaches from the life coach school. And one day I was driving my car and I was like, I could do this. And I was on my own weight loss journey at that point. I struggled with weight all my life. And I realized, through life coaching, that was the missing piece, was managing my mind around it and not feeling victim around it. And so I signed up for the life coach school and got certified. And after I did that, I was coaching weight loss clients, and I just felt like something was missing, and I kept pushing it down and ignoring it. And then one day I was like, okay, we're just going to follow what is needed here. And so I decided to start my LDS Convert coaching
Okay.
program, and it is amazing.
I love that. So do you coach weight loss still as well? Do you do both?
Yeah, so that's probably one of I have like 5 things. I coach on anything if you're an LDS convert, but probably my number one thing that people come to me for is the word of wisdom or weight loss. And so I have programs designed for that.
As you work with LDS converts, what do you find is their biggest struggle? What do you see? Is there a reoccurring theme or themes that you see that LDS converts struggle with that you work with?
Yeah. So I actually created 5 programs just because I noticed I was coaching multiple people on these things. So, and sometimes we don't touch on any of these, but these 5 things I've noticed reoccurring are the word of wisdom and feeling defeated by the word of wisdom. Being the only member of your family is a big one, and feeling lonely, and navigating your relationship with a loved one who is struggling with their faith, weight loss. And I really connect that with, using our faith and helping you along with that. And then number 5 is overwhelm, whether it's with the church, our life, our balancing callings, or sometimes it doesn't even have to be with the church, just being a mom or whatnot. But overwhelm is definitely the one I coach on.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, those all sound so good. So, we spoke a little bit ahead of time, and we thought we would maybe narrow down on the navigating with a family member that's struggling with their faith. And I think that touches all of us, right? And even ourselves. Like, we all are navigating our faith on a daily basis. And so I think that's a relevant topic today. So I wanted to, focus in on that and just ask you, so as you work with people that are struggling with that, what within that would you say is the biggest struggle? If that makes sense.
Yes, making it about you.
Okay, I love it. So
Yeah.
tell me more.
I think the biggest struggle and the things we really dissect when we first start working together are, what are you making it mean when a significant other or someone you love is struggling with their faith? And it's always about what the person thinks. It's like, I'm not doing this right, or I'm a failure. This isn't the picture that I saw when we got married or even sealed in the temple. And so we really dissect, like, it's not about you, it's about them. And once we really tune into that and believe that, you're able to show up better.
Yeah. I love this so much because this is a journey I've had myself, right? I have 5 kids and 4 of them don't really associate with the church at all. And so in the beginning, as one by one, they've kind of stepped away. And in the beginning, there was a lot of like, I made it mean everything about me, that I was a terrible mother, that if I would have done family night or, family prayer more often, or if I just was better mother, then they would still be on the path, right? And so I can see how when we're in that space, we actually create a bigger problem. It really isn't about the child stepping away or the family member or the loved one stepping away. It's what we are making it mean, how we're defining ourselves because of their choice to do something different than we think they should, right?
Yes, exactly. And we make it, like you said, mean we're not a good mom, that we failed. We should have done this, this, and this more. And we're dwelling on what we can't change instead of nurturing that relationship with them and just being a support system. And oftentimes we offend them because we're trying to control the situation and get them back to where we think they should be. And
Yeah.
so I think it is so important, and something I learned in my own faith struggles and my husband is really letting them go through the process. A lot of times it all works out in this life. And if it doesn't, finding that peace that it will work out in the next is just so freeing.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's the perfect word, is freeing, because I think what we do when we try to control this, which we can't control, right? The situation, we put ourselves in bondage. We create our own hell, if you will, because we are trying to control something we were never meant to control. And I've reflected on this often through this journey is, the thing that was of greatest importance to our heavenly parents was agency. And to really stop and consider that for a minute, like that was the thing really that we brought with us. And what the war in heaven was all about was agency, that our agency was worth all of that. That's pretty mind blowing if you think about it.
Yes. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because that is a big piece to all of this, is giving them their agency, not trying to control and dictate what they're doing, which is really hard as a mom. I know.
Yeah, it's really
we all
hard.
I all see it. I'm like, I have to give them their agency. They
Yes.
have to figure this out, because that's where the true testimony comes from.
Yes.
And I know it's it's not easy for Heavenly Father to be watching us as well sometimes. So I
Yeah.
do strongly always encourage, let's connect to Heavenly Father in his love for us, in the unconditional love he has for us, that he loves us no matter what we are going through and what we're choosing. And if we can come from that place, we can show up for that child or whoever you love is going through this and not offend them. And when they're ready to talk about it or maybe process it with you and invite you in, you're there and you're open and you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so interesting because, we approach those relationships from such a resistant place, right? And we want them to know what we believe. We want them to understand what we stand for, right? But then there's this deep desire of connection. Like if they would just choose differently, we could be connected. We could have
Yes,
connection. And so we're actually creating disconnection because of how we're showing up in that relationship. We are blocking ourselves from connecting with them. And as a result, impacting their connection with us. Because who wants to be with somebody that's trying to make them do stuff all the time?
exactly. Yeah. And we're not letting them grow, right? They're not able to grow and have that choice to connect to Heavenly Father if we are in the process dictating what you need to do. This is how you do it. We need to give them time to process and pray and find that journey for them.
Yeah. And don't you think, Kayla, that this idea, like I think of the black and white, all or nothing thinking really can enter this space because, you know, we are taught to be on the covenant path and to choose the right. And so it's not that's creating it. I think as mortal men, we create the extremes, right? It's either or. You're either on the path or you're off the path. You're either
Mhm.
choosing the right or you're choosing the wrong, and you're, you know, wrong somehow. And I just think that when we can step back and go, no, actually, all of this is part of the grander plan. Like it's more of a, and I've talked about this before, it's more of a story that if we can just let go of the grip that we have and be an influence for good, but allow for the messiness that happens, because if we really do believe it's all going to work out, we could just let go and
Yeah.
know this is their story. This is our story. Like maybe we're the one that's struggling, right? And we just got to let go of the white knuckle gripping on the all or nothing.
Yeah. And I absolutely love that, because we all have this vision of what a LDS family or Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints family is supposed to look like, what we are supposed to do, how we're supposed to act, how we're supposed to dress, how we're, and then we have this rule book, which I totally respect, but I don't think that ideal is for everybody. And I think letting them have that agency and letting them experience what they're on earth here today to experience is so important. And I just always think of President Hinckley of, it will all work out, like you said, and
Yeah.
trusting that. That's like posted on my wallpaper.
Yes.
That's posted on everywhere in my house,
Yeah.
because just knowing it's all going to work out, even if I have to take a deep breath and
Yeah.
even if
Yeah.
I have a strong opinion, I know if I use Christ-like attributes, it will make me closer to this person.
We are encouraged to stand up, right? For good and right. But I think we get that confused. Right. I think that standing up is when we live the way we believe and we are a reflection of him, or that we like what we're striving for. And it really is a personal journey. And that I think will make the greater impact than trying to use all these rules to judge somebody else. Because quite honestly, we're told not to judge, and it goes both ways. Right? We don't judge people that are too righteous, and we don't judge people that aren't righteous enough, or what. Like
Yes.
judgment, it's just do not judge. We are to love. That's it.
And we're all at church for that reason, right? We're all there to grow as people and to get closer to those that have like minds, and also to get to know people that maybe you wouldn't cross paths with. And I think, like you said, just having, those open-mindedness, I guess you would say, and knowing that life is 50-50. And that's another thing that I think goes along with the all or nothing thinking, is life's 50-50, and it's not supposed to be this always happy. And so seeing someone else struggle is letting them have the true human experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's tough.
It's hard. It's uncomfortable for us, right? And I think that also illustrates that the reason we do anything or don't do anything is so we feel something. We either feel good or we're trying to not feel uncomfortable, right? We're seeking the good feeling, but we're also pushing away the negative feeling. And when we can embrace that yeah, sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable when we watch that person we love struggle, but how better can we be there for them if we are sure of ourselves and we just love them.
Mhm.
And you touched on this earlier, that when they're ready in this life or the next, we're there. They know they can come to us. They know we love them regardless.
Yeah. And I think that watching someone go through that and being the one that has gone through a little faith, really, I do not like the word crisis, but like struggling with their faith or the church, knowing that I was getting opposite results by, my husband being like, we have to do this and whatnot. And I just noticed that even being on the opposite end of him and seeing him go through that every time I tried to control it or fix it, it stalled out my faith. It stalled me out because I wasn't focusing on my journey and how I could progress. And so I was just right there with him, struggling because I wasn't focusing on me. And if I would have done that, I would have got a lot further in my journey. And just maybe the right word is not offend him while he is trying to figure that out as well.
Yeah, I love that so much because if you think about it, if we're spending so much time worrying, maybe we're not really even saying anything to him, but we're living in this worry, right? Or this disappointment or this sadness. We aren't creating a greater connection with God. We're actually losing connection with everyone in the story, right? We're losing connection with us, we're losing connection with them, and we're losing connection with God. But when we can turn that inward and really connect with ourselves and God, what a better connection we can have with that loved one that's struggling. And I love how you said that you don't like the word crisis, because I don't either. That sounds so awful and horrible. And it's like, no, it's a journey. And I think we're all on it. We're on a faith journey. And sometimes it takes us in a wilderness. Sometimes we're in a wilderness. We read that all over in the scriptures of how the people are brought into a wilderness, but they come on the other side of that stronger. So I love that you made that point, because I think that crisis to me has such a negative connotation to it that I don't know that it helps or serves anyone.
No, I think it brings so much feelings of disappointment and worry and all these feelings that are not productive in this circumstance. And I love that you said you compared it to the wilderness. And with a faith journey, I do not think of it as like a straight up and down path. I think of it as, it's got waves and it goes up and down, and it's okay, because in the end, I know every time I've struggled a little bit or, been questioning some things, it has made me so much closer to Heavenly Father. And it has made me help so many other people because I can relate, I can love unconditionally them, and I can just be a sounding board. And I think that is so important too, is sometimes just closing our mouths and listening to what's really going on.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Because I think for me, my prayer has shifted to help me know when to be quiet and when to say something, right? Like sometimes there is that moment where you need to share something of your faith. And then there's other times that it's not the place, it's not the time. It's time to listen. So I love that you shared that. The other thing I was thinking as you were talking, I had listened to a podcast recently about in Jeremiah this week in our Come Follow Me, it's talking about backsliding. And the person I was listening to made the comment how backsliding is, it's a readjustment, but you're still on the path. You still know Jesus. You're still right. But sometimes we slip back and we have to regain our footing and figure out where we are in order to take that next step forward. And so it really is, it really is a journey. There can be joy in the journey.
And if you think about you gaining that relationship and getting like closer to Heavenly Father, then you're opening up that door to be closer to that person that is struggling as well.
Yeah. I love that. So I could talk to you all day, Kayla.
I know, same.
I love this so much. But as we kind of end out here, what is one thing that you would love to leave with listeners as you have gone on this journey yourself, as you help other people on this journey? Like, what could you give them that they could take away today that would help them where they are?
A big thing I coach on with any area, and this one especially, is the 4 Ps: pause, process, pray, and pivot. meaning pausing, helps us to take a minute to process what is going on, which helps us not react, but process the situation we are wanting to react to. It helps us learn how to not be so reactive and just invite Heavenly Father and the Spirit in. Praying is the way to communicate with Heavenly Father and seek guidance. I don't know about you, but I often think more clearly when I take the time to pray, and often ask for a softened heart is one of the things in this situation. I just pled with Heavenly Father, please let me have a softened heart. And it just really connected me to the situation. And pivoting is just helping because you consciously decide your next best decision, the best thing for you, and how you are wanting to show up for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, I love that so much. I have something really similar, but I like yours. I like yours too.
We can share.
Mine are the 3 Ps, but I love that. So pause, process, pray, and pivot. I think each step is such an integral piece of creating joy in your life, despite the circumstances, despite the struggles, right? Just the situations or whatever is going on with ourselves or with our loved ones. If we can do that, pause, process, pray, and pivot, I think that's an intentional life, right? That is living with intention and partnering with God to do it. I love that. That's beautiful.
Yes.
All right. Well, I just have loved this. So tell people where they can find you and all the good stuff.
Yeah, so I have a website, www.theldsconvertcoach.com, or you can find me on Instagram at the LDS Convert. And if you are a convert, you can join our Facebook group, and that's the LDS Convert group. Pretty simple. I try to keep it simple, but that is an amazing resource to connect to other converts and have a great conversation.
Oh, I love it. So I'll include all those links in the show notes so that if someone wants to find you, they can connect you through those ways. So I just want to thank you again, Kayla, for being here and sharing your story and your message. I think it's an important one.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening. If you like what you hear, I would love it if you would share it with your friends and family and leave me a rating and review. If you'd like to learn more about what life coaching is, please schedule a free discovery call with me where we can work together through something that's causing you a problem. Just go to my website, seasons-coaching.com, and you can also find information about my Seasons of Joy one-on-one coaching program and my Seasons of Joy community. Have a joyful week, and I'll see you next time.